Do you think traveling in your 70s feels the same as it did in your 40s? It doesn't, and not enough people are talking about it. The truth is, once you cross into your 70s, the travel experience shifts, quietly but significantly. Your body moves differently, your mind processes things differently. Even the smallest details, like airport lines or unfamiliar signs, can feel heavier than they once did. But here's what no glossy travel brochure will tell you. That picture-perfect vacation you've been planning, it could turn stressful, costly, or even dangerous if you don't know what to look out for. Now let me be clear, this isn't a message of fear, it's a message of freedom, because this isn't about giving up adventure, it's about traveling smarter, safer, and most importantly, on your own terms, because age doesn't limit your journey, only lack of preparation does. So in this video, I'm going to reveal 5 hidden dangers of traveling after 70. Risks most people never see coming until it's too late. And number 3, even seasoned travelers have fallen for it. But these aren't just problems. They're preventable pitfalls. And when you know how to avoid them, you'll travel with more confidence, more ease, and a whole lot more joy. So are you ready to take control of your next adventure? Let's begin with the first danger that starts before your suitcase even hits the ground. Let's start with the first danger, and it begins before you even leave the airport: physical demands. At first glance, a trip might seem simple. A long flight, a charming old town, a cozy hotel. But under the surface, your body may be working much harder than you think. You see, after 70, your body handles strain differently. That economy seat that once left you a little stiff? Now, it can raise your risk of blood clots, deep vein thrombosis, as circulation slows in cramped quarters. And those beautiful cobblestone streets in Europe, they may look like a postcard, but they feel like an obstacle course to tired knees, stiff ankles, or balance that isn't what it used to be. And the hotel without an elevator? What once felt quaint might now feel like climbing Everest after a long day. But don't let that stop you, because smart travelers don't power through pain. They plan ahead. Here's how to outsmart the physical demands of travel after 70. Pace yourself. Alternate busy days with slower ones. One day to explore, one day to rest and recharge. Choose accommodations that support your needs. Look for hotels with elevators, walk-in showers, and short distances to key attractions. Travel deeper, not faster. Instead of hopping from city to city, stay longer in fewer places. It's not about seeing more, it's about experiencing better. And here's a pro tip from a 79-year-old who's been around the globe. We now travel premium economy or business class, not for luxury, but because my body needs the space. It's not a splurge, it's self-care. The key isn't avoiding travel, it's adapting travel to fit the body you have today, not the one you had 20 years ago. And coming up next, a danger that has nothing to do with sore legs, but everything to do with what's in your carry-on. Now let's talk about a danger that often gets overlooked, until it's too late. You could be the healthiest traveler on the plane, you've packed smart, you feel strong. But what if your body suddenly needs help? And help is a world away, because here's what most travel agencies won't say. Medical systems vary dramatically from country to country, and what feels routine at home, like a refill, a quick checkup, or a trip to urgent care, can turn into a confusing, stressful maze overseas. Imagine this. You're in a remote town. You start feeling chest discomfort. Do you know where the nearest hospital is? Will they speak English? Will they accept your insurance or even understand it? And here's an even bigger threat. Medication availability. The pills you take every morning without thinking? They might be unavailable, banned, or impossible to replace in some countries. Lose your suitcase, and suddenly a small oversight becomes a life-threatening situation. But you don't need fear. You need a game plan. Here's how seasoned travelers stay medically protected. Start with your doctor. Schedule a full checkup before your trip, and request a signed letter listing your medications and conditions. Carry extra medication. Always keep at least a week's supply in your carry-on. Never check luggage. Know what's available where you're going. Research hospitals and clinics at your destination, especially if you have any ongoing conditions. Invest in the right insurance. Not just any plan. Look for senior-specific travel insurance that covers pre-existing conditions and emergency evacuation. And here's a pro tip from a senior traveler who's still crossing borders at 82. We don't leave the country without medical coverage, ever. It's not optional, it's essential. Because smart travelers don't just plan their sights, they prepare for the what-ifs. Up next, a danger even the most physically fit travelers often miss, because it starts not in the body, but in the mind. You've landed safely. The plane doors open, but the moment your feet hit the ground, something feels off. The signs are in a foreign language. The airport is loud, rushed, unfamiliar. You're tired. People are moving fast, and suddenly, even small decisions feel heavy. This is cognitive fatigue, and it's one of the most underestimated dangers of traveling after 70. You see, as we age, the brain processes new information differently. Not worse, just slower, more thoughtfully. But when that slower processing meets a whirlwind of changes, new schedules, new environments, new rules, mental overload kicks in. And when your brain is tired, you're more likely to miss the right bus, fall for a tourist scam, forget where your passport is, make the wrong call when it matters most. But you can protect your mental energy, just like you protect your knees or your heart. Here's how to stay sharp and steady on the road. Build in buffer time. Don't stack your days with back-to-back connections. Give your brain room to breathe. Use technology wisely. Download offline maps, translation apps, and keep important info printed and on your phone. Simplify your itinerary. Choose a clear, repeatable structure, like morning activities and afternoons for rest. Start early. One 80-year-old traveler shared this gem. I begin my trips in the morning. That way the travel day feels like a long work day, not a lost day. I still get good rest when I land. Cognitive fatigue isn't a sign of weakness. It's a signal, a reminder to slow down and stay aware. Because when your mind is calm and focused, you travel not just farther, but safer. And next, we'll explore a danger that doesn't come from your schedule, but from leaving behind the routines that ground you. Sometimes the hardest part of travel isn't the distance, it's the disconnection. At home, everything has a rhythm. Your favorite coffee mug, the TV remote, the way the morning sun hits the kitchen table. But the moment you leave all that behind, something shifts. That sense of home disappears, and with it, a surprising kind of emotional disorientation. Even simple things, like ordering food or asking for directions, can suddenly feel like climbing a mountain. Not because you can't, but because nothing feels familiar anymore. This isn't weakness. It's what happens when the structure that grounds us gets replaced by uncertainty. One senior traveler said it best. Not being able to communicate made even the smallest moments stressful. I stopped exploring because I didn't want to feel embarrassed. And that's the real danger. Not missing a monument, but missing the magic. Because you stayed inside, feeling like a stranger in a beautiful place. Here's how to stay grounded, even far from home. Keep your lifeline close. Regular video calls with loved ones can bring comfort back in seconds. A familiar face, a steady voice. Learn a few local phrases. Hello, thank you, where's the restroom? These words are more than helpful. They're empowering. Stay longer in fewer places. Give your mind time to adjust, to build new routines, to create a temporary home. And here's a wise reminder from a viewer who moved to Thailand at 71. We don't rush. We settle in. A month here, 2 months there. That's how we stop feeling like tourists and start feeling connected. Because when you root yourself, however gently, you give your heart a place to rest, even while your feet keep moving. Up next, a danger that doesn't just make travel difficult, it can make you a target. Let's talk about how to protect yourself without losing your freedom. Let's be honest, not every traveler you meet is on vacation. Some are watching, not for sights, but for signs. And unfortunately, seniors often stand out. Slower pace, a look of uncertainty, that moment of hesitation when reading a map. To the wrong person, those are invitations. Criminal targeting is real. From pickpockets to scam artists, there are people who see older travelers as easy prey. But you are not powerless. You're wise, experienced, and with the right tools, you can be prepared without being paranoid. One viewer recalled, "In Casablanca, I caught a pickpocket. In Istanbul, I nearly paid 5 times the real taxi fare. I used to confront them. I can't do that anymore. Now I stay 2 steps ahead instead." That's the key. You don't need to fight. You need to signal strength, even when you're not feeling it. Here's how seasoned seniors travel safely and confidently. Walk with purpose. Keep your head up. Make eye contact. Move like you know where you're going, even if you don't. Use anti-theft gear. Slash-proof bags, hidden money belts, and secure clothing aren't overkill. They're smart travel tools. Know the scams before you land. Research the most common tricks in your destination. When you know the script, you don't fall for the show. Stick together. Travel in pairs or groups whenever possible, especially at night. There's safety in presence and in numbers. And here's a golden tip from a 76-year-old world traveler. We rarely leave the resort after dark. It's not about fear, it's about focus. Bad things can happen anywhere, but I choose when and where I take risks. Because protecting your peace of mind is part of protecting your trip. And when you feel safe, you move through the world with ease. Now that we've covered all 5 hidden dangers, it's time to wrap things up and remind you why your best adventures are still ahead. So now you know, traveling after 70 isn't about fear, it's about foresight. It's not about limitations. It's about liberation, with a little preparation. Let's take one last look at what we've covered. Checkmark physical demands. Your body needs pacing, comfort, and recovery just as much as it needs exploration. Medical vulnerabilities. You don't leave your health behind at home, so don't leave it unprotected abroad. Cognitive fatigue. A tired mind makes rushed choices. Slowing down helps you stay sharp and safe. Psychological disorientation. Familiar routines are anchors. Even small ones can bring calm to unfamiliar places. Criminal targeting. You don't need to move fast, you just need to move smart. These aren't just warnings, they're wisdom. They're the travel companions you didn't know you needed. Because here's the truth, the seniors who thrive abroad, they're not the ones who travel the fastest. They're the ones who travel intentionally, who adjust the pace, embrace their limits, and carry confidence in their carry-on. As one 71-year-old viewer wisely shared, "I know I can't do everything I used to, but I can still go. I just go differently, and that's enough." And maybe that's the key. Different isn't less. It's just different. So if this video helped you feel more prepared, take a moment to support this growing community. Hit the like button. It tells us you want more content just for senior travelers. Subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss new tips and travel wisdom. And most importantly, share your story in the comments. Where have you been that surprised you? What travel habit has made your journey smoother? Is there a place you're still dreaming about? Your experience might be exactly what another traveler needs to hear. Because this isn't just a channel, it's a circle of wisdom, and you're part of it. Until next time, travel safe, travel smart, and never stop exploring.